gentlemen who are watching this live session today. Today at BW Business World, we are in conversation with Dinesh Tyagi, who is the CEO of Common Service Center E-Governance Limited. Welcome to you on the show, sir, and a very good morning.
Thank you very much.
So I will start with my first question herein. Digital India is one of the most important and key dream that Prime Minister Modi visualized in a bid to transform the nation radically with digital literacy, even at the grassroots level. As the CEO of CSC E-Governance Limited, to what extent do you think that this vision is being fulfilled, and how has CSC played a crucial role in formulating this in place?
First of all, let me thank Business World for inviting me to share some perspective on the Common Service Center and its role in Digital India. As you all know, the Digital India is a flagship program of Government of India. It has various components, and the basic purpose of Digital India still remains to be that to digital inclusion. That means every person in wherever it is, especially those who live in villages, are able to access services very close to the place where they live. They are made digitally literate, they are unable to access service, and they also are unable to skill up themselves in order to create employment potential for an opportunity for themselves. The CSC plays a very important role in the entire conveys of the Digital India program. The digital literacy program, which you mentioned, was a flagship program of Government of India, where it's called Prime Minister Gramin Digital Sakshata Abhiyan. It envisages one person in every family to be made digitally literate. And these digital literacy programs, there are contents which are being worked out. The digital literacy largely focuses on people to know something on digital tools, digital technology, and digital frameworks, so that they can use and the digital services available in various platforms. So basically covers all the four aspects of them, and then try and train them to handle various devices, use the devices for their own purposes. Also tell them about cyber security and various precautions to be taken in that part of them. So digital literacy is an important part of the entire program. As I said, 6 crore people, 660 million people are to be trained, and these 60 million people, out of which 2.5 crore has already been trained across the country. This is largely rural, because that is the focus of Digital India. And you will be surprised that out of the 2.5 crore trained so far, almost 50% are women. And these women who live in villages wanted to understand the technology, wanted to understand very perfectly how to use the technology, and then they have been unable to the framework for doing that part. The other advantage of Common Service Center is that when it does the digital literacy program, it also creates an environment for people to further come and learn. If they want to learn little, they can come to center. If they don't have devices in their house, they can use the common service infrastructure in order to use the device and do the digital transaction in whatever, whether it's learning some program or learning some skill or doing a transaction, they can use the infrastructure available in the common service. The Common Service Center does three things in digital literacy. One, of course, he create an advocacy for programs. He mobilizes people who are in need of the program, and then he trains them in the various skills which are required. The contents are centrally done. The contents are now available in almost all languages, all 24 languages across the country. They're available in all the forums, and they can also use in their own house after learning them and try and use, get acquainted with various formats of digital programs and digital literacy.
Moving on to the next question, village level entrepreneur is supposedly one of the key success of CSC operations. Would you please elaborate with us on how this initiative has been a game changer in transforming economy in rural areas?
See, one of the essence of the Common Service Center scheme is that the person who operate and manage and run belongs to the same village. So therefore, there are big advantages. Advantage that the community knows him, he knows the community, they will listen to him. And of course, he invests his own capital in order to build a computing infrastructure. So there's a person who wants to build an enterprise, who has the ability to run and manage a computing infrastructure, who has the capital to invest, and who has also the risk takeability in order to run a business. That is the common service center village level entrepreneur. So village level entrepreneur actually need these necessary skills in order to run and manage the common service center. So these village level entrepreneurs, they are, and out of the 400,000 now, 4 lakh common service centers, we have about 50,000 run and operated by women. And as usual, the women's credibility and acceptability a little higher in the community. Her ability to do mischiefs is also low as compared to the other people. So the community likes him, and she is very passionate in doing that part of work. This is actually a social enterprise in that sense. You help people in getting access to various services and also run a business and run an enterprise for creating employment potential. All the common service centers with so much of basket of services which are now available at least employ about 4 to 5 on an average. So we have about 1.5 million people who are employed across the country in common service centers, and they do various part of the work on the various service delivery format which are there. So as I said, the village level entrepreneur in the CSC framework is the key. But he's enterprise, and they're very educated people. Like in Haryana, most of the VLEs are BTech. In Jammu and Kashmir, most of the VLE are BCA and MCA. So very qualified people who wanted to come back to the village and run an enterprise, or who are not interested in getting a job and creating job for others, are operating and managing common service center. The common service center really is the focal point on which the entire thing revolves. So one is, we said, his acceptability with the community is very high. His ability to mobilize people is very high. He can mobilize. Suppose there is a program and he want to launch that, he can call people. There are 50 to 100 people who will come and join, listen to the program, which is very difficult for an outsider to mobilize across the country and all the panchayats. So that's very difficult. But today, this entrepreneur has the ability to mobilize. And the third is, he enables them to learn and access the services, whether it's the Prime Minister Fasal Bima Yojana or Shram Mandhan Yojana, any scheme of the Government of India which is launched and enabled, he does the 3 parts of them. First, mobilize them, then educate them, create advocacy of the program, and enable them to access that service. So that's the village level entrepreneur. Without him, it's not possible, and he is an incentive. So incentive-driven enterprise model through an ICT frameworks helps community to learn and get empowered digitally. That's how the CSC framework works.
So we all know how common service centers had been a very useful tool to deliver government services to the citizens and taking it to their doorsteps. So I would like to know from you, what kind of innovations are still required in citizen service centers or citizen service centers in state levels to bring more and more services under the government domain?
One of the objectives under which this scheme was started was to enable government services to citizens, so that he doesn't have to go to a government office. That's a fact that not only there's the inconvenience, but I think no citizen wants to go to a government office to access services. Today, technology-wise, it's possible. So what the government is doing is, government is creating a framework in which the services are enabled to a platform, which can be accessed by people in their own house. If you have your own house and a computing infrastructure, you can go to your relative's house and doing some part of them, if he has a computing structure, or you can go to the assisted format like common service center, which will also help you to access the government services, or you can go to a government office. See, the government service delivery format gives a choice. It is not exclusive, and it not necessarily actually be exclusive. The exclusive can create more dangers. The idea is not to create government patwari, private sector patwaris. The idea is to government to utilize the infrastructure in enabling service delivery to the citizen. That is the whole format in which it is designed. So these are private enterprise which government is utilizing to deliver services, and therefore that semblance of enabling, empowering, and communities happens. So most of the government services of Government of India, most of the ministries are now being done, whether it's the Ministry of Labour, Ministry of Urban Development, or Ministry of Agriculture. Most of the services are presently being delivered through Common Service Center. Railways, IRCTC tickets are being delivered. PAN card, Finance Ministry, PAN cards are being delivered. Banking services are being delivered. As far as your point relating to state government services, the state government still have their own services like the land record, certificate issued for birth, certificate for residential income certificate. These are largely one which is required. But these services are in various stages of development at the state level. Wherever the state has done the full development of and created a platform where you can access it, these are made accessible to citizens through Common Service Center or to other formats. Like for example, like in the state of Haryana. Haryana is the only state in the country where almost everything possible which a citizen needs for government can be done through Common Service Center. Even the tax which you want to deposit to government, which is also painful in the present structure of getting challan, going to the bank and depositing a tax, you can do through CSC, very simple method. So everything possible in Haryana, anything, whether you want a license for running a shop or under office, under establishment act, or you want to run anything of that nature, any program of that nature, any scheme of you want to avail, you can fill up application, deposit the fees and do that part. Haryana has done. There's some more state like Jharkhand has also very large state, Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh has also fairly done well. There are some states which are still developing in that part of them. I think over a period of time, all the states, the objective remains the same, that government is now mandated and committed to deliver services to citizens very close to the place where he lives, without asking him to visit a government office. That is the objective, and that CSC plays a significant role in trying and helping government achieving these objectives. But that's being done. Some states are still taking time, but I hope that over a period of time, they will also get into the same system and through the centralized portal of CSC or through their own platforms, enable citizens to access services.
Moving on to our next question here. CSC 2.0 is a scheme that the Gram Panchayat launched to expand its outreach to Gram Panchayat. Please share with us the details about this scheme that has enabled the capacity of Indian villages to power.
The CSC 2.0 is largely to try and cover geographical equity. And geographical equity starts with the process of first accessing panchayat, because there are more than 250,000 panchayats. So the objective was to at least have minimum one common service center in every panchayat. And therefore help and support in that initiative. We acquired almost all the panchayats across the country except 13,000 panchayats, which are very remote location and where connectivity still continues to be an issue and it's going to come for some more time. So all the panchayats now have, but these which are uncovered are attached to another panchayat where they can, nearby panchayat where they can access services and go to CSC and try and avail them. But with the recent announcement yesterday with the Honorable Prime Minister on Red Fort that 6 lakh villages will get BharatNet access point, our approach will be now to create one common service center in every village, because with the availability of internet, it is possible to now try and shift from panchayat to the village level. So we will try and focus on enabling 6 lakhs common service center covering almost every village in the country, which will use the internet of BharatNet and then try and deliver services to citizens across.
Apparently, is CSC also working for creating job creation in the rural areas?
Oh, that's true. That is true, because each CSC on an average engage, which I mentioned to you, about 4 to 5 people, because the activities are very large. We do education services, we do financial services, we do telemedicine, we do government services, and we do now doing many of the other non-governmental services on farmers, or we have started Gramin e-store, which is basically to try and create a rural e-marketplace where people can also place order locally and purchase and get supplies into their own house. So all these are leading to huge employment potential. So with 4 to 5 on an average and 4 lakh, so we have got about 2 million people who are now employed in common service centers. We are also working out that every CSC will have 5 digital cadets, which will help him. We are calling them digital cadets, but this basically will try and help him in delivering services, both in goods and services, to citizens close to the place of where they live in. So if the citizen are not necessarily come, because COVID also put restrictions on people's movement, and the citizen want to place an order and get something, he can place an order in the nearest CSC and they can take out and submit and send it to their own house and deliver it. So these 5 digital cadets will actually deliver services and do all other part of the work. We are also doing economic census, and we have done about close to 25 crore household economic census done through CSCs. And these economic census also has given employment. We have created professional enumerators in the country, and a large number of them are women. And these women will be trained to do survey works from household to household using technology. And that's how 25 crore households has been covered. So we are creating also the professional enumerator which can be used by government for various formats. Government uses enumeration work for many areas. One is the economic census, then there's the general census, then there's the animal census, and there are also scheduled caste, scheduled tribe census, then the BPL census. So therefore, large number of census operations are done. But if we have this team of professional enumerators, totally skilled and also enabled through technology, create huge employment potential for them in order to do that work.
Can you please elaborate on the several initiatives they have been rolled out to counter the COVID challenges?
Things which during the COVID has happened is that many of our centers were non-operational. In the first announcement which was done by the ministry for COVID, during the second announcement, the CSCs were allowed to open. The first announcement allowed only business correspondent CSCs to work and function. Others were not allowed to function. So one of the things which is done in the COVID is that Government of India transferred a lot of financial assistance to people across the country. There are Jan Dhan account holders, around 30 crores of them who has got their money into their account. There are Ujjwala beneficiaries, about 8 crore of them who has also been transferred the subsidy part for free cylinder 3 months into their account. There are also the pensioners whose money is being cut, and there are 9 crore farmers. So total about 50 crore of people across the country has got money into their account transferred by Government of India under various schemes and programs. Besides, some state government has also transferred incentives into the account of self-help group women or others who are functioning and doing that part of the work. The constraint for these people who got money into their account was to how do they withdraw the money in case they need that money. And that gap, because they can't go to the branches, and the branches were also very far. And there are not many branches in rural India. The rural India, the branch network is only about 50,000. For 6 lakhs villages, 250,000 panchayats, you still have about 50,000 rural branches, which is cannot be sufficient enough to deal with the kind of incentives provided by Government of India to various beneficiaries. So the CSC filled up that gap, and the CSC now runs an Aadhaar-enabled payment system where everybody can go to the CSC, withdraw the money, look at the balance inquiry, means what is the balance, whether he's got money transferred to his account, withdraw the money, and also do transfer of money. If he want to transfer some money to his son or daughter living somewhere, he can also use the CSC for doing the same framework. So the Common Service Center in the COVID time actually help people who have got money transferred to their account to utilize that fund, whatever they want, in whatever manner they do, and as per their convenience. That is the first part they do. The second was that many of these persons were not, for small OPD treatment type, were not able to go to the hospital or the public health center. They were scared or they were unable to go. We have a telemedicine platform, so many of these people were using telemedicine. Our telemedicine transaction during the COVID time has actually grown from about 6,000 a month to about 60,000 in a month. So there are persons who are now using telemedicine for homeopathy, Ayurveda, and allopathy. Any branch of medicine, they can do a teleconsultation. They can take the medicine, and the medicine can also be online supplied to them and sent to them to their home house. So teleconsultation help people to deal with issues which they have during COVID time of enabling go to the hospital. The banking part, banking and insurance. Some people wanted to deposit the insurance payment. They can also use CSC for financial services. They use them. And of course, the education services. Some people wanted to use and do some part. So we ran a CSC Olympiad program for children. We run a cyber security program for also students. And we also run some more programs in order to try and create awareness of people that they want to use it. The advantage is that they can take the program from CSC, and if they have a computing infrastructure in their own house, they can, with the password, use and try and do that part. So that's how we do it. So we taken care of almost all segments of the society, and CSC is enabled to the extent possible within the limitations existing and helping community. We also helping people to get into, if they're a migrant labor who has now gone to the villages, we are now running a CSC Gramin Naukri portal, and we are asking them to register them, and also the employer who want to employ this labor, which may be unskilled labor, which may be only laborers. But these unskilled labor also need a platform. So we have created a platform for largely for unskilled labor who has migrated to village, and there are employers who want to use this unskilled labor. So we're creating the bridge between the two in order to help and support them. In COVID time, almost all segments of society, the CSC has helped within the limitations and to the extent possible.
How has CSC been acting as a catalyst for enabling a robust digital payment system in the country, given the current scenario, which is supposedly running much on the digital platform? So what is CSC's role here?
The Common Service Center, one objective is to create a financially inclusive society. So we do almost everything in the financial inclusion space. And the first is the banking services. So we have agreement with all the 41 banks across the country in order to make every CSC a business correspondent. When he becomes a business correspondent, he does exactly what a bank does. He does the deposit, withdrawal, fund transfer, remittances, and also lead generation for loans. So he does almost all the functions of a bank. So there are now about 40,000 of these common service center which works as business correspondent of various banks, both public sector and private bank. So that is one part. But those who are still not able to do the business correspondent job, there we have run called it Aadhaar enabled payment system, where we an agreement with the NPCI, and the Aadhaar enabled payment systems enable people to, as I mentioned, to do a balance inquiry, withdraw, and do fund transfer. So these basic functions of banking can be done through the same format. They are all done digitally, so we are really enhancing the digital payment culture within the country, especially in rural India, in trying and understanding people that you don't have to carry cash. If you want to do some transaction, you can help, and we can help you and try and support you in doing digital financial transactions.
Heard about the concept called one in the society. How far do you see that our community is from adapting such concepts?
Which is one nation, one ration card. Is it that place?
So one nation, one card. That is one thing, and also there is one concept called one nation, one card for any kind of travel or any kind of other, suppose domain specific. I'm saying.
No, there is no scheme for one nation, one card. Aadhaar is one nation, one card. Aadhaar number is one nation, one card. But there is presently no scheme being designed as such. One nation, one ration card is being launched so that the ration card becomes interoperable. Means if you live in Bihar and shift to Delhi, that's to ensure there's an interoperability of ration system through a centralized architecture. But one nation, one ration card. What is announced yesterday by the Honorable Prime Minister is an identity card, an identity number for every citizen on health. That's a digital health mission. That identity number will also help in people trying storing records and do all other part of the health records, and so that they can be accessed at various formats and build the framework. The digital locker concept is almost similar to that format. The digital locker allows 1 GB data to be stored by every individual. So on the background of digital locker, you can actually have a health record created, and then of course create access to people whom you want to create an access.
Who has asked about how many CSC centers are operational in the rural and urban areas as of now, and what is the target for the time to come?
Presently, 264,000 common service centers are operational in villages. That's a panchayat. Okay. And the balance out of 4 lakh is available in urban and semi-urban areas. As I said, with the 6 lakhs villages being connected through BharatNet, in 1000 days. Our effort will be in order to try and create also a common service centers along with BharatNet in every village in the same period as 1000 days.
Moving on to my next question, here we have COVID has changed the business normal drastically over the past few months. What initiatives are being taken by CSC E-Governments Limited to expand their outreach digitally and way forward?
You're right, the COVID has redefined the way we now function and deliver services. COVID has not only affected urban business and urban communities, it also has an impact on the rural communities and rural business people. So the effort from the common service centers is in order to mitigate some of these aspects which has happened because of COVID. And that's the reason why I mentioned that we launched the Grameen e-store, which is to similarly what an urban citizen gets an access to various services sitting at home and placing order. We created a facility for a rural citizen also to do the same. He can also access and deliver and get delivered services, both goods and services, to his own house. So the COVID will continue. The whether work from home, of course, there's an announcement made very recently said people who have gone to villages and want to do work from home and does not have computing infrastructure, they can also use the CSC computing infrastructure for doing work from home. We are also helping Delhi University students who want to appear for exams that they can visit the nearby common service centers and try and do whatever possible, both in uploading their documents and downloading their question papers using common service infrastructure. So some of these efforts are being done in that sense, and we also, of course, help quite a lot in Ayushman in Arogya Setu app download. About 5 crore Arogya Setu download app has happened through Common Service Center because villagers were difficult to try and get of their own. So CSC helps every village person to come, educate, and help him into downloading the Arogya Setu app.
What are the emerging opportunities that you see in the northeastern region in terms of bridging the digital divide?
Northeast has a huge potential because I come from Northeast, so I understand Northeast very well. And the Northeast has small. Northeast is not like plain India. It is not. Their panchayats are not similar. People have to understand Northeast that there is no panchayat structure of that nature. There is no plain. Every village is not connected to road, and unlikely to get connected by road. Every hamlet will not get connected to a road because there are small hamlets. People stay in 10 household in the hilltop. You can't connect to a road. In those areas, technology and internet access will actually create the same facility, and they are also unwilling to come to the plain area. I remember asking some people, why don't you come down to the road and we'll give you everything, house, road, drinking water. He said, you come and sit for some time in the hilltop and you will never go back on the plain area. But that's the feeling. The feeling is that they want to live in their own environment, in their own climate, and they want to be supported where they're living. The only way to support and create equal opportunity for them, as happens to people who live in plain areas, is using internet and technology. With yesterday's announcement of every village being connected to BharatNet will transform India. And especially help northeastern people because very bright, intelligent people, only since they do not have an access. That's why they don't have to come to Delhi to study. They can stay in the village and study. They can appear for IIT. We have programs where we do coaching for IIT exams. We do coaching for medical examinations. So why should the northeast people travel, spend money and resources and come to Delhi for getting coaching? They can stay in a village. As long as there is a quality internet access available and there's some computing infrastructure. And of course, we will enable service provider to try and provide services in that sense. Northeast is the biggest beneficiary if there's a 6 lakh villages get connected through BharatNet. That is the benefit to them. And they will do phenomenal. They will look better than what they today. And I'm sure that over a period of time, Northeast can beat any part of the country. They can be far better in terms of both outputs, quality, intelligence levels, and using technology and driving innovations. They can do phenomenal. The market is a problem. They can do innovations, but how to the market? The technology will help. We had recently launched where the pineapple from Tripura was sent to Dubai through a technology platform. they would have never thought of. In any case, the goods which are provided are goes to Bangladesh or go to Myanmar, but they don't come to the mainland because of the physical concentration. If you can use technology and try and help them selling those goods and services, Northeast has huge potential for transformation and also keeping pace with what the other part of India is doing it. They will do better than, I'm sure that after 1000 days, you take my words, Northeast will look better than any part in this country.
Recently, only on 10th of August, Prime Minister Modi has launched this underwater optical fiber network, which is connecting Chennai with Port Blair and Andaman region. So what is going to be the impact going forward now once it is operational? Because I have had my experience prior, there was any submarine cable which was there connected in the city with hardly or barely no phone connectivity or phone network connectivity. Now, how do you see the change coming in these regions?
The fiber lays the infrastructure, but somebody has to use the infrastructure. The one who has laid the fiber is a different organization. One who is going to use the infrastructure are a little different. There are ISPs, there are internet service providers, or there are other telcos who might use the infrastructure. So the government also needs to excite the telcos and the ISPs in order to use the infrastructure, work out commercial models, and try and propagate and create advocacy for citizens. But I'm sure even in Andaman Nicobar, every citizen will need good connectivity. They'll be too happy to. So why did you build these relationships? So infrastructure laying is one part. Similar to BharatNet. BharatNet is doing what? BharatNet is only laying out fiber, but the utilization of fiber is being done by CSC. They manage the last mile, they sell internet coupons, they also design coupons according to requirement, they give fiber to home connection to the villagers using the BharatNet. So it's not the BharatNet which is doing it, it's the other organization who will come and try and make use of these infrastructure. So the government creating infrastructure, but they are used by other service providers.
Do you think it will be hampering the nature beneath the water anyways, or will be cons with this?
Sorry, I didn't get you to repeat that. There's some...
Yeah, so I was saying, do you believe that this under-marine cable network is going to disturb the ecological balance or disturb the marine life out there, and how going to impact it naturally?
I don't think so. Whatever little disturbance take place only the time when the pipe is laid. Once it's laid, nothing happens. Now you can forget it. Once it's laid, no marine disturbance. It's like any other wire hanging into the sea. They'll be too happy. In fact, many of the marine life will be playing with the fiber. They'll be too happy and enjoying it, hanging on it, moving up and down and enjoying it. There's not going to be any disturbance.
Great. My apparently the last question here is, going forward, what are the opportunities you see for CSC e-Governance Limited?
Opportunities for the CSCs. As an organization, we only support CSCs, but the opportunities for CSCs, we can help government and institutions to deliver services to the last mile. That's an easy way. That's the way. That's only the objective, that any government institution and also the private institution, the private people who want to reach rural India, they can use the network, because it's impossible for anyone to set up such a large network. This is probably one of the largest network in the world, and therefore any organization. And that's why the essence is that it's neutral. It is not exclusive to anybody. If Patanjali went to sell his product, we can help them. If ITC was selling product, we help them. We help Godrej in selling products. So we've had L&T to sell his product. So anybody who want to sell anything in rural India is what is available as the infrastructure support for them. So CSC helps citizens in accessing what the urban guys accesses, helps these organizations to reach rural India for a market, and helps government in enabling them to deliver various services to citizens, programs, services, whatever they want to do it. They can use the network in doing that part.
Apologies that Dr. Batra still couldn't make it. He must have got in between something very important.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.